For joining us. We have in the studio as our guest for AM Talk this morning, George Kuntu-Blankson is a former member of Parliament for Infantiman East. And when he was in Parliament, you were holding a position.
Deputy Majority Chief Whip.
He was a Deputy Majority Chief Whip as well. And we have Ni Kwate Titus Glover, Member of Parliament for Tema East. He's a Tema boy, he calls himself. How are you? You also a member of which of the trade?
I'm on Trade and Industry Committee.
And then?
Appointments Committee.
Appointments Committee.
And the members holding Office of Prophets.
Okay, and talking about Appointments Committee, I think then we have to begin with you. And the last time the Minister of Health was before you. Is it Dr. Kweku Agyeman-Mensah?
Yeah.
You were asking me a lot of things about Korle, did you?
Yes, I did, together with his deputy, because I'm told the internal generated funds of Korle is huge, a huge sums of money. If it is used profitably, they could improve part of the infrastructural challenges that they have in Korle and all that. And the answer both him and his deputy gave was that because they are not yet there, it will be difficult for them to know. But if the committee gives them the nod and the final approval at the plenary, they'll go into it and find out whether it is feasible and appropriate for them to do that. But whilst I was coming in the car, I heard that he has asked the acting CEO to stay. You recall,
who was removed from office by
the former
health
minister. You recall at that time I was on this show when this matter came up, and you were asking whether it is proper that the chief executive is asked to leave or something because of the row between them and the workers. I said, look, we need to sit down to look into the matter. Maybe the priority of Korle was misplaced. That was not the vehicles that they needed. Because I recall that they said the acting chief executive has parked his new car in his house and he still continued to use the old car. Therefore, if indeed they still need the car, what are the real priorities of Korle? We need to tackle them first before we look at other things that they need to. After all, they come to work, they have their own cars and all that. So I think Madam Sharaite wrote that Reverend Boucher should excuse himself so that the new one was taken. And I thought that was what was going on. I was therefore surprised this morning to hear that he has asked Reverend Boucher to stay on. And the senior association chairman, I also heard him, and he was saying that the minister invited him on to have a chat because he's new, and for that matter he wanted a very serene atmosphere to work so they can have the full details of Korle. Therefore he needs the support of the workers, so therefore they will be in a good position to see how best they could reconcile all the challenges that is going on. To his surprise, he, after the chairman went to brief his members, and it's wrong. If the chairman went alone, it's wrong, because we are dealing with sincerity. I'm a trade unionist. I'm an industrial relations practitioner. It is both the law and practice. The minister invites you. The kind of discussion and the conversation that you had was only two people. There was no third party. He should have been done with another person. Now that in your discussion, you did not discuss about the retention of Reverend Boucher. You only called for a truce, support, to enable both the minister, the Korle management, the board, and the staff to work in the interest of their patients. Now the minister has turned back to reinstate, Reverend Boucher. For all you know, your colleagues out there might think that you've gone to sign up with the minister, which is not so. Now you are coming back to explain to the public that that is not what you want to discuss. So, union leaders should be very careful when it comes to some of these things. At any point in time when you are being invited, at least there should be a witness around, both at the management side and that of the union side, so that if there should be any disagreement,
just for transparency,
for transparency purposes, except where it is going to be more of a personal discussion, that is a different thing. But in this matter, I'm very much worried that looking at the history of what has happened, it's something that we need to look at it. By moving forward, I think that they are talking about the auditing of Korle. Every government institution is an annual thing that they do by the Auditor General. The audits government institutions, and these reports have brought back to Parliament for us to look at it and all that. But from your story, you said it's a draft report. It's not a finality of the auditing report.
Well, that's the contest. That's the contesting of protestation of the workers, and especially the pharmacy department, who thought that, well, because they had been at the heels of management and the board, this was a draft report that was not finalized. Because I think usually an audit is undertaken, then there are some queries.
Yeah, you respond to the queries.
Then
so if it's a draft, in the first place, who leaked into the media? Who did that?
And in whose interest?
In whose interest? If what the workers are saying has some truth in it, why should the board and the management be livid and thought that they also want to pay them back? All that we are doing is in the interest of Korle, so there will be absolute peace in the running of the teaching hospital for patients to have their healing. So if there's a draft audited report, the practice, I did auditing in Aluex. I was an audit assistant. You normally, when they give the drafts, they give some queries. You are giving ample time to respond. Then you incorporate all these responses in your final report. Was that done? If that is not done, then why did they go to bed with that information, thinking that they want to castigate or malign the image of the pharmacists in Korle?
Honorable Kuntu, the board chairman of Korle, that is Dianan, was on Joy FM yesterday evening and was speaking on this very subject. To him, he felt that, well, no matter the other arguments or side arguments that could be raised or would be raised by the staff, the point is, an audit is an audit. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be worried or worried about an audit. So for the workers raising concern, he then is intimating perhaps they have something to hide.
Well, it depends the angle that is looking at the issue. But you know, when you come into the principles of management and accounting, audit is done to evaluate the usage of resources given to, departments under the institution to work with. So if by audit purposes something has been found against those people who were entrusted with those resources, it's a matter of asking them to account for how they use the money, whether it was the interest of the assignment given to them. If not, then action must be taken. But here is a case that you are talking about, a reinstatement of the chief executive. That one is another issue that should be discussed, maybe taking cognizance of what went in, because the incoming, minister might have gotten a handing over report from his predecessor. So you and I don't know what entails in that report. So talking about it in a way may even bring, suspicions of which we don't know. But when audit is done, and you know you have judiciously used the resources according to the purposes, you need not to worry yourself about it. Because if anything falls short of it, they will put it before you to answer some queries. So that also will come as a part of addition to the report, final report. Because like we're saying, this is it's not a final report, it's the
draft report.
The draft report. But my worry is that why that draft report can get outside without those who are handling those reports. It's very serious.
Now to the point where now the workers say they are going to lock the offices of the chief executive and whoever matters as far as this is concerned, just because the chief executive and the board chairman, Diana, intend meeting them today or tomorrow thereabout to have some lengthy discussions. And mind you, they've been having these discussions for some time within this whole period when we've had this impasse.
Well, you see, like I said earlier on, we are outside viewing at the action that is going on at the Korle. You understand? So why they are going to meet them afresh, you and I have no information. All what we are hearing, they are going to meet them. But like you said, previously they have been having meetings. They have been having meetings concerning the issue that is at stake. And for that matter, the outgoing minister saw that the only thing that can bring peace is to ask our brother to stay off so that they can resolve the impasse there. But coming in with a new administration, seeing that maybe there is a way they also can use, a method that they can use to resolve the impasse between the chief executive and the what do you call it, the teaming staff or the management. Well, that one, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
If I listen to my senior very well, is that the immediate past Minister of Health did some handing over, which is true, to enable the new one know exactly what is happening in the ministry, including that of Korle. But it was public that Reverend Botwe was asked to leave as the acting CEO, and another doctor, one doctor something, was made to act as a new CEO of Korle. I'm worried that the new head minister want to go into a minefield, if he's not careful, can affect his
Why
beginning.
is that? Why is Korle always a contentious issue?
Yeah, because you could see that there has been some respite ever since Madame Shirley Aite asked Botwe to withdraw
To recuse himself from-
recuse himself. I'm sure he's the director of health or HR or something, or is he not?
No, who?
Opoti? I don't know. He was.
I know he was a board.
He was a non-executive member.
Non-executive member, yes,
yeah,
of the board.
to recuse himself. Yeah. And there's a new, what do you call it? Acting chief executive, and the work is going on. So I'm totally alarmed and shocked.
Why is Korle a very contentious issue? Since Professor Frimpong Boateng was taken off that very position, of course, he says abate in very difficult circumstances or challenging circumstances. We've always had Korle in a very difficult situation. There's always an accusation on the part of workers who seem to claim that management don't use the resources of Korle very well, don't undertake best or don't implement best management practices, and don't see to the welfare of the staff that matter to running the whole facility in itself.
You see, in HR practice, every leader and its management typology, the way he wants to handle the place. Some want to be that domineering, bossy type, always want to raise the shoulder. Some also want to bring everybody on board, want to be a team player, to make sure that everybody has a stake in the project or in the company wherever he or she is working. Now, if you want to take the issues of Korle one after the other, there can be certain truth in certain things that they say. At least let's listen to what the workers say. If there's a truth, let's sit down together and see how we could resolve some of these things. But where you want to push it under the carpet, the workers will continue to speak. For example, the priority of Korle, where you could sit, as we speak now, in my car whilst coming, I'm told that women undergoing pregnancy, eclampsia or whatever they call it, they've shot of drugs.
That's magnesium
drugs, simple.
Yes.
They've shot of drugs. So let's ask ourselves, at the time when they bought these vehicles, did they check their stock level? Because as a CEO, you need to look at your reports, the pharmacy reports, the kind of drugs that you have, whether you need to replenish them as and when the stock level is dwindling. What did you do? This simple thing. You couldn't look at it. And your priority is to go and buy vehicles, luxury, exotic cars, and sit in. It's abnormal. So I think that if indeed there are problems in Korle, the president cannot come from the Jubilee House and come to Korle to resolve the matter. That is why he has appointed board of directors there to assist in the policy direction with the day-to-day running of the administration by the chief executive officer and the management staff. But I have a problem where you have a board chairman who has an office in Korle, runs the place day in day like a what do you call it, like the CEO. I'll have a problem. You understand? So if the board members are not performing, it is the duty of the president to assess whatever work that they are doing. If they think they are not doing it, get them off, and put the right people there to give you the results. Korle is not a profit-making enterprise. It is there to save lives. So if monies are being made, I'm told that they make huge sums of money from the internal generated funds. Why can't you use some of these things to develop the place whilst you are with that of government revenue? You see, I spoke to my leader, Dr. Kumbo. He was one of the immediate past ministers. I said, look, we can resolve Korle so well if they're able to take their time to make sure that all monies that are coming are properly taken care of. We won't have any problem. But I think that we need to sit down and look at some of these problems that are in Korle. It can be solved. But where people want to throw their weight, they want to raise their shoulder. And I tell you, workers' leaders, they're not given easily.
Okay, so now how do we make sure we resolve all these difficulties? Management, board, and then the staff or senior staff of the various health departments of Korle.
You said earlier on that the board chairman says he's going to have a meeting with those concerned in the act. What I think, if they are able to identify the hotspots and maybe discuss with them thoroughly and know that if whatever they are going to do will serve the interests of Korle and for that matter the whole nation, I think they can resolve it. They can resolve it. There's no issue that you cannot resolve. But it depends upon by it. You understand? But you see that, like Tato said, when you look at Korle as an institution, though it's non-profit making organization, but at the same time it's profit-making organization. That is why we have the internal generation fund. With this internal generation fund can also be used to strengthen the capacity and at the same time the infrastructure, aspect of the Korle. But because things are not properly managed, you understand?
Yes. Like
the whole adage in the can say, oh, Abanjuma, Yenswa, Yechunasi. Everybody think it's for government, but forgotten that the government is you. Without you, there will be no government. Is there? Without you, there will be no government. So I think if they can put personality issues aside and go to the core function of the Korle Teaching Hospital, I think they can resolve the problem. Okay. But when it comes that personality calls start coming in, that think that I am this, I am that, then I think the problem will not be solved.
Okay.